Previously on Ladies of Letters.
I've just heard on the grapevine that you and I are in the same boat. My feet in your socks, my hand in your hand.
Frankly, dear, you sound unhinged.
At last I am free.
6 mad grannies loco, says Judge.
At the moment, I have my hands full looking after your new baby granddaughter, Sabrina, and I am busy organising a Vera Smalls is Innocent fork and finger function.
All my buns!
She's taken over my entire family.
Mum, for Christ's sake, stop being so pig-headed, grow up and get your arse in gear.
Dear Vera, having had no reply to my last missive, I am once again attempting to appeal to your better judgment. Do as I did, declare yourself insane and you'll be off that prison ship in an instant.
Who's got my blue blanket?
Apart from anything else, your children are driving me to distraction. Howard currently reminds me of a toddler who's been left at nursery school for the first time. Frankly, if he regresses any further, he'll be a fetus. Anthony has woven him a comfort blanket, much against my better advice.
He's a butchie with the girl.
Well, Karen is a totally incompetent mother. We remember all that fuss before Sabrina was born. Oh! And now, well, she seems to think that if she feeds her and changes her just the once, that's it, job over, feet up. Now, she's out clubbing at the moment. Not to club her, I know that. 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm left holding the baby. Or rather, babies. Oh. And as for Howard, I wouldn't mind, but he lives on lentils. Suffice to say that I checked Sabrina's freshly changed nappy at least 4 times before I located the actual source of my bedroom's odoriferousness. Oh, really? Then I smelt burning, so I came downstairs to find Karen attempting to make breakfast for herself and several of her other clubbers. Well, naturally enough, I was forced to take over. It was either that or say goodbye to your Anthony Worrell Thompson non-stick. Sausage, bacon, eggs, tomatoes, beans, toast and mushrooms for 7. And the day hasn't even started yet. Everything by hand, my foot. Ecological piffle. If I ever get a moment again to myself, I shall pen an ode to my mixer. How I love the food processor sitting on the kitchen dresser. I'm not stopped catering yet for your fork and finger fundraiser tonight. I've rather overbought on avocados for the guacamole, so I am sending you a couple to make sure that you get some fresh greens. I know what it's like in there for scurvy. I hope they're not too overripe by the time they reach you. Kind regards, Irene. Something's needed. A sherry.
HM Prison Ship Pride of Cleveland. Dear Irene, Howard and Anthony. And Karen. I have discussed your request for me to get out of here on the grounds of diminished responsibility with my therapist, Arnon Beauvoir de Lune Crutch Maudsley, a top Harley Street man, now consigned to prison duties. Arnon is against my declaring myself mad, as he said it would cast aspersions on his abilities. He says there's nothing wrong with me that 15 years of analysis won't put right. And as that's at least as long as I'm going to be here, I might as well get the benefit. I must say, I thoroughly enjoy my sessions with him. It's not everyone will listen while you ramble on about yourself. I want you all to know that I attach no blame. No, not even to Irene. Though some of the things she's said about me are certainly less than Christian. I'm sure she's getting her comeuppance. She's much too old to be dealing with a baby. And as for my erstwhile offspring, I wish her joy of you. Arnon says you're all useless baggage. Beefy's been moved to another cell. She'd taken to chewing the bars with her teeth. So desperate she was to free me. But I am not entirely alone. I found a little seed in my gruel, and I planted it in a crack in the wall. I water it liberally with my tears. Goodbye, my dears. Forget about me. Vera. P.S. I'm using those avocados as a face pack. Most were too far gone for consumption.
Sheep, sheep!
Come on, girl.
Sheep, sheep, sheep!
Mopsy, Mopsy, come on, Doris, quick, Doris.
Listen, Shirley, back. Back.
Shirley,
Sheep, sheep, sheep.
Doris, no.
Sheep dipper's shed. Dearest darling mums. Why are you doing this to me? Have you forgotten how much I love you? I've got alopecia. Great scads of hair are falling out from every follicle on my body. I'm nearly bald. Mostly it happens at night. And in the morning, the bed is like an animal's lair. The first time it happened, I woke up and thought Anthony was wearing a chess wig. He's being ever so sweet and supportive. But how long will it last? How can anyone love someone who looks like a boiled egg from behind? We had the fork and finger for your appeal, and really, all things considered, it was quite a success. Posh and Bex couldn't make it, as couldn't Jordan, Sharon Osbourne, Ozzie Clark, Jeremy Clarkson, Desmond Tutu, David Cameron, Geoffrey Wainwright, MP for Shagthorne East, Prince Charles or the Archbishop of Canterbury. However, Nigel Norris came from the Shagthorne Gazette. He's such a benet sport. He was one of the first friends I made when I moved to the area, and we were quite close for several months. It was just like being back in the lower sixth. Anyway, Nigel managed to rustle up Les Spatchcock to be our celebrity. You may remember that a couple of years ago, Les qualified for the quarter-finals of the British snooker contest at the Sheffield Crucible, which was televised nationwide. And for a couple of tense days, the whole of Great Shagthorne held its breath. Les graciously consented to being photographed in all sorts of sporting poses for the Gazette. We had to guess at your secret recipe for your blue cheese dip. I'm sending some to you so you can judge for yourself the measure of our success. Personally, I think there's at least one ingredient missing, but none of us could guess at what it could be. Irene's roulade was its usual big hit. I'm sending some snaps of the occasion and your celebration cake. I think Les was a bit squiffy by then.
I'll say, and so was Irene. Mums, I'm really pleased that you're having therapy and that you're sorting out your childhood. It took me 3 intensive, painful years to get over mine. Howie.
But honestly, Mumsy, there are much better facilities out here. There's a thriving alternative therapy centre right here in the village now. Please think about it and discuss it with Arnon. I simply cannot understand why you are being so intransigent. Is it just that you've become so institutionalised that you are afraid of life beyond the prison walls? If it is, we could help you through that. You could stay in your room for the first week. We could even lock you in and bully you if it made you feel more at home. Yo, bitch, here's your slops. Right soon. Or even better, come out soon. All my love, your little Howie. Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Shackthorne Gazette, tragic story of Vera Small by Nigel Norris. Oh, look, it's a picture of me. Local snooker hero Les Spatchcock entertained a select crowd on Saturday at the Vera Small is Mad appeal fork and finger buffet.
Vera, mother of Howard Small of Sheepdipper's Shed, claims that she was wrongly accused of being a drug baroness who preyed on the disillusioned and weak-willed in her native Little Potterton.
While Vera languishes in her cell, her family and friends, especially Irene Spencer, oh, I love that blouse, work tirelessly for her release.
Oh.
Before her incarceration, Vera was a pillar of her local community, organising bring and buys, spearheading the campaign for compulsory poop and scoop, but she now feels her work inside among the prisoners is more important than her own personal survival. Anybody who watched Bad Girls can imagine the appalling conditions under which she must be working. So far, her perseverance has succeeded. Rumour has it that every prisoner on board the Cleveland can now write her own name.
Craighead. Very good.
Vera won't rest until all her pupils can fill out a DHSS claim form without copying from their neighbour.
Now, previous employment. No, there are 2 G's in Mugger, dear.
If you're interested in the Vera Small Prisoners Literacy Campaign and have any old books you no longer need, please send them to Vera Small, HMS Pride of Cleveland, The Wash.
My dear Howard, it really is time you gave up your baby name, dear. You are nearly 40. And I'm very sorry about your hair, but I really don't see how I can be to blame. Both you children have unique gifts. Just get off your butts and use them. I wish I could describe to you the liberation I felt in this prison cell. No mirrors to remind one of wrinkles. No telephones to ring at an inconvenient moment. No dependents or demanding friends and their expectations of your behaviour and subsequent disappointment in it. I must say, the prospect of seeing any of you again fills me with horror. As does the notion of living at Sheep Shedders or whatever it's called. Hessian is all very well in its place, but not, in my opinion, on the walls. And untreated natural fibres next to my skin make it itch. So there's no way that I'm sleeping with a sheep on the bed. Well, I must rush. It's my play reading class. We're on to the second act of Les Miserables, which has struck a chord with many of the inmates. Some of my love, Vera. The mystery ingredient in the blue cheese dip was just a dash of your father's courgette and cucumber hair oil. I'm trying to think what it was called so you can try some. I remember a lot of F words.
Food for fabulous follicles. What? Oh, bitch.
The Gables. little Potterton. Dear Vera, I don't suppose that you're interested, really, because I understand you've given up all concern for your erstwhile life on the outside, but I have moved into your old house just for a while, and thank heavens that I did, because some young people had squatted in it. In more ways than one, I'm afraid. And we're charging admission for weekend rave parties. Of course, word had got about locally about your trouble with the police, and all the teenagers seem to think you're marvellous because you're an OAP drugs baron. Gracious me. The entry tickets, as you'll see, read, "Get off your face at Vera's place." Whatever that means. Anyway, I chased them out and I'm putting the house to rights as much as I can, although I'm afraid your crystal has gone the way of all things. Oh! And your Auntie Gertie's Victorian commode has had to be sent away to be destroyed.
Oh, no, my only heirloom.
I came here to get a bit of peace away from Sheep Dipper's shed and to indulge in a spot of quiet reflection. You know, in that respect, I do miss prison. Being banged up in solitary does have its compensations. I sold my house when I came out to pay the legal fees for the lady barrister and to fund your appeal. But there is some money left, so you don't have to worry about me being a drain on your resources. But I shall have to be very careful that it lasts me now till the end of my days. I'm sorry that you decided to give up your fight and stay on the inside for your allotted. I'd always hoped that we might have a jolly retirement together, doing all the things that women of our generation never got to do while our husbands were alive. So to each his allotted role, and far be it from me to stand in the way of destiny. Thought for today, Radio 4. Yes, well, there's lots of work to be done here, and I am tackling it little by little. The mint's done very well, in that it seems to have taken over the whole garden. And I shall be bottling soon like mad to make sauce for the church fete. It's just like old times, really. And yet somehow strangely different. The local community have welcomed me with open arms, in spite of my prison record. Well, maybe even because of it. I'm quite the local celebrity. There is talk afoot of a new bypass scheme which, if built, would run straight through your patio, rendering your picture window sort of grandstand to Brands Hatch. I don't know, you may relish that. You've always pined to be first past the post, but well, this would be a bit more of a pit stop, really. Anyway, don't worry about it. As long as there's breath in my body, I shall fight it, although it would be good if it didn't come to that, really. My track record with bulldozers and demonstrations being such... I'm likely to find myself banged up again before you could say porridge. I am enclosing a few pressed sprigs of lavender, thyme and mint. To remind you of an English country garden. I hope they still smell by the time they reach you.
I had a postcard from my daughter Leslie the other day. Her husband Keith has left her for another woman, and she's wondering if I'd like to go out to Australia to look after little Cheryl Marie while she gets on with her new career in real estate. I was half tempted for a second, but on reflection decided against.
Yes, once one has got used to the idea that one is totally dispensable, it's not at all an unattractive existence. Anyway, after my experiences of Karen and Sabrina, I want to steer clear in future of any spoilt children whatsoever. Now, I must close because I've got the vicar coming round in his capacity as treasurer of the Little Potterton Poop and Scoop. Oh, did I tell you that I've been invited to take over your position as chairperson?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I thought you'd be pleased. The house, of course, is not quite up to my domestic standards, but I think I've made it as endurable as it ever used to be. And I've purchased new nets for the windows. Yeah. Come to think of it, did you have nets up before? I can't remember. Well, if not, how on earth did you manage to know so much about the comings and goings of your neighbours? Glad to hear you're well and happy and are at last feeling fulfilled. On reflection, now I've assumed your role in the community, it's probably best that you stay inside. Cheers. And here's to a long and happy exile.
Over my dead body?